another episode of the Settle Talk podcast where we talk about strength, hope, and what is possible when we look beyond the noise. Today, I have a special guest that I've known since high school. She actually was my cheerleader when we met in the ninth grade, even though I wasn't that good at football, but she was supportive, even though I rode the bench. Her name is Laurel Browning. She
Mhm.
represents Laurel Browning Art, and she has done art shows all throughout the South, the Midwest, and also throughout the West Coast. So, Laurel, I'm glad to have you here today. It's been a
Yes.
long time coming, so I'm excited to celebrate you and what you have morphed into.
Well,
So,
thank you.
thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for
uh,
having me, for
yeah, no
sure.
worries. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and like how you get started, how you got started on this art journey.
Yeah, well, it started with going to well, I've always loved art and, just color, and because of that, I went into interior design. I went to Auburn University and, graduated in interior environments there, and then after graduation, I worked for, a designer for about 10 or 12 years, and then, and just loved being in the field of design. And had a child, so I went out on my own as a designer. And it's kind of a little bit longer story, but ultimately I ended up taking some art classes from someone, I think, Ahmad Austin.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know
Yeah,
him. I'm familiar with him. Hopefully, I can have him
yeah,
on one time. I didn't know you took art classes from him.
yeah.
You
So
know,
I
him
took.
and I went to we grew up in the church together, Sardis Baptist Church.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
small world. I didn't know that.
Oh, I know, that's so crazy. I didn't realize he went to Huffman, I guess, but I think he was maybe a year older than us. I can't remember. Could've
No,
been
he was
younger.
actually he's younger than us,
Maybe
maybe
he's
like
young.
2 years
We're
younger
the
than
older
us.
ones, so
Yeah, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, he's I think like 2 years younger than us. But that's
yeah.
pretty cool. I didn't know that. That's a small world.
I
So how
know,
did
it's
you go from that transition from interior design? Because I remember in high school, you
yeah,
always wanted to be an interior decorator,
I
and
did.
you
Yes.
started out doing that. But what made you just say like, I don't really want to do interior decorating. I want to go into like the art field.
So, I really and truly, I loved being a decorator, but my husband, Matt, we've been married 27 years. And he went kind of 10 years in our marriage, he went back to school. And so he went back to school for nursing, and I ended up working for myself and for another designer, and just got really just burnt out on it. It was just tough. So, but I mean, it was fine. And that designer and I still get along great. And I actually have some of my art in her shop. So, but I kind of just got burnt out on it. And Matt, he graduated, and for Mother's Day, bought me those art classes with Ahmad Austin. And
That's pretty cool.
paint. It was called painting with a palette knife, because I used to exclusively paint with knives, but now I've kind of dabbling in some different um, other mediums, or using brushes and things. But anyway, um, I took those classes and I started doing art shows from there. And I retired from being a designer. So yeah,
Well, that's pretty cool because I've seen some of your artwork and like it's pretty cool. It's pretty. It's
yeah.
I
Thank you.
can't believe like, like how the story of you going from I mean, it just shows like if you really want to do something, you're really passionate about it, then you
Right.
can achieve it. Because here you are, just started out with an art class with the mod, and now you've morphed into like, your own business where you do your own art, you do ornaments, you do a lot of other things
Yes.
which we'll get into later and things like that. But so what was your influence? Like, do you have any artists that are your influence? Like, who influenced you, like, growing up or to make you like, oh, I kind of like that style of art. That's what I want to do. Or how
Yeah.
does your style come about?
Well, I honestly, when I first started, well, I've always loved impressionistic art. So, like Claude Monet, but really I love a lot of different artists, master artists. But as far as the actual style, I was always intimidated by painting with a brush, because
Mhm.
to me, you have to be, or it lends itself to being a little bit more particular with your lines and just the way you paint, or at least for me. And so when I took the classes with Ahmad, like behind me, you can see like a palette knife is very, like, loose and, it uses a lot of paint and, it's just very forgiving, so I kinda liked that because I'm not a perfectionist at all, and it really just spoke to me when I took those classes with him and, it just helped, like, you can just be freer with it, so
So before you did that, like what did you experiment with before? Like with just regular brush?
yeah, just a paintbrush, trying to figure out, like, what I wanted to paint, exactly what I gravitated towards. I was still working as a designer, so I was around because I worked in a shop, a design shop. I was around fabrics,
Oh yeah,
every day
yeah.
and just different color, color tones,
Palettes and
color.
things like that.
Yeah, so I kind of took my cues from that and what I gravitated towards, as far as and then just trying to figure out what I wanted to paint. But when I started painting with a knife, I love the way I could paint florals with knives, and
Gotcha.
that's really what I love to paint. So
Uh-huh.
even
No,
to
no, that's
till
pretty
today, and
cool.
that's been 12 years ago. So
12 years ago?
yeah,
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 I mean, like, well, that's a lot of work you put in. Hey, so at what moment did you say like, hey, like, or what moment did you say like, you could probably make a profession out of this as opposed to
yeah,
because some people just do it just for a hobby and they have a lot of artwork around the house. And I'm like, hey man, you could probably like, make a profit doing some
yeah.
of this. But what moment did you realize like, hey, I can probably turn this into like a business or something bigger than just it being a hobby?
Yeah, so I don't I usually this is a terrible thing to say. I don't 100% believe in myself like you should. And but for some reason I took those 4 classes from him and I immediately that was in June and I signed up for an art show. It was Avondale. They don't have it anymore, but it's called Avondale Art in the Park, in the Avondale area. And I did that art show and sold, I think, I mean, I'm trying to
Avondale, that's
remember, but
in Birmingham, right?
yeah, Birmingham,
Birmingham,
yeah.
Alabama, and
Mhm.
Avondale, okay.
Yeah, so I did that and ended up selling, maybe 10 pieces and kind of larger ones mixed with small. And I kind of fell in love with that and I just started signing up for shows and started selling. So,
Yeah, so you got like
yeah.
have a lot of variety of like different artwork. Like you do like little small like pieces, you do ornaments,
Yes.
you do Christmas pieces. Like you have branched out. Like so what is it like? Like so when you get your canvas and it's just blank,
Mhm.
what goes through your mind? Do you just like go with the flow and whatever comes about, or do you have a plan of attack?
Yeah, so that's always that's an interesting question because it's really it can be if I haven't painted in a while, I kinda go in my little studio area and I'm kinda just like, I'm just gonna put some paint on a canvas and just
uh,
you just gotta start, you just gotta play around, but mostly I usually have a show coming up where I'll see a picture from our travels or like, a fabric that inspires me or just color combinations that inspire me, and so then I just kind of, go from there, as far as getting started.
So it's just kinda like a freestyle, and then, like,
Yeah.
what comes on, and then you'll see. Well, that's kinda how, like, most artists are and things like that. And then, like, do you do like, I noticed behind it, you have, like, a flower and a vase. Now, is it
Yes.
only, like, do you do, like, scenery, or do you do just, like,
Yeah,
floral,
and
or
I
do you
I
do,
did,
like, abstract art?
this one too, it's hard to see, but I put these 2
Okay.
behind me, but, um, yeah, so I have recently started some coastal landscapes because I
Okay.
love we love to travel and
Right, yeah, I know. I see you and Matt are all over the place.
which really
Every
we only I mean honestly we've got a lot on our bucket list but on the west coast but also the east coast I have done some shows in Georgia on the Georgia coast and one in Arlington Virginia so it's not really on the coast but it's up the east.
Mhm.
east of us. So, anyways, but I have been doing coastal landscapes and
Mhm.
I've loved doing them lately. So,
Oh, really? Like, you say coastal, like, like that? Because I know y'all travel to Florida, a lot. You go to, like, this one spot. It's really cool. I really don't know the
oh,
name of it, but
Like Rosemary Beach or
oh, yeah,
30
it looks
A.
like a little village-like type of,
Yeah,
scenery and things like that. That one's a
yeah,
really cool one, but every time I look up, you and Matt are on, some trip or something like that or whatever. But what's really cool about it, though, I know a lot of the, art shows that you do are in the places where you all vacation, so it's just kinda like, you go
yes.
there and this is like a 2 for 1, right?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We've enjoyed like it's a lot of work to do the art shows.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it is, but it's kind of a tough. You have to the weather has to be good, and it's just it's kind of a little bit of early setups. Some of the shows set up at 3 a.m.
Oh,
and that's
wow.
always tough.
3 AM, Jesus, okay.
Yeah. So but it's fine. But anyway, we love to go and travel to the show areas and at least be able to go out to eat and see the sights of where we are, so
So tell me about your first art show that you did. Like how was it? Like were you
that
like a
well,
nervous
that was
wreck
the
or
one in Avondale,
okay.
and I just fell in love with it, and, it took a couple of years to
Hmm.
build clientele and, people that would come back to shows to see me, and, that's always just a nice thing to happen when somebody comes back and they've bought from you before, or they'll send a friend.
Hmm.
So that's always, great to have. And so I try to venture out. We went last spring. We went to Pittsburgh to do a show, and then we went to Arlington,
Oh,
Virginia,
okay.
and Miami. Just
Oh,
trying to
wow.
figure out some different areas
Oh, you
where.
big time. You down there in
Oh,
Miami, huh?
well, that was a lot of fun. I just loved that so much and really just get inspired by the areas that we go to. So, but anyway, that was, those were great shows to do and my favorite show, or I hate to say my favorite, but
Yeah,
one of my
what was that's a
favorites.
good lead off. What was your favorite show, and what was the show where it didn't meet that expectations, and what motivated you to keep going? Because a lot of times when
Yeah.
people are, successful as yourself, there are a lot of times when you're probably like, "Do I really want to keep doing this?" And then there's probably some shows where you're like, "Hey, man, let's on to the next one."
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely shows that if they will have me, you have to jury into the show every time. And, I'm always like, if I get invited, I will always do that show. So,
Hmm.
um, that's just, there are certain shows that are like that. But there are shows, unfortunately, that I have tried and have not, it hasn't been what I need it to be in order to travel that far
Hmm.
or it's just I'm not a good fit for that area, and that's fine. I mean, I say it just keeps you humble and it keeps you trying and the same process. I mean, that same thing is true for getting into shows. You
Hmm.
have to jury into them, which means you send your work, like
You have to send your work in.
4 pictures of no, I'm sorry, your like, photos of your work in,
Okay.
and then you basically are judged, by the jury of that show, and you
Before
can
you even get in
oh,
the show, they judge you and things like that.
yeah, yeah, so
Oh, wow.
it's a little tough sometimes to get rejected, but it's just part of it, and you just gotta keep to me, I try to look at it as, that's just gonna keep me trying harder to you know, not perfect my look, but like just listen to feedback and kind of go from there. So
So how did you so I know you say you were into interior decorating. So how were you able to train your eye for like, like the different color palettes? Cuz me, I was in the fashion retail for a while and even though I used to like, but mine was in clothing, but we still had to do like color palettes and things
right,
like that.
right.
But that was so difficult to me, as far as like getting like the color palette to make sure everything flows and it was a lot of trial and
Yeah.
error but, like, when I look at some of your artwork, but I don't really know what goes into it, like, Like you probably, have some of those moments where you're just like, oh my God, what is this? But it's just always impressive to me, like how people can get everything to blend in and it
Mhm.
looks like, amazing. And they just start off with, maybe like a simple line or a simple color. So how do you go about like, if someone wanted to break into like, the artistry as far as like getting that color palette to where everything flows?
Yeah, that I don't know that I have a good answer for that, but, well, I mean, as far as, like, there's, certain colors that are complementary colors, you probably know about it from,
Right.
the fashion industry. I mean, there are certain colors that just naturally, work together. Um, I to me, I mean, nature is a great indicator of colors that are beautiful together. Like you think about like on flowers in particular, a hydrangea is just the blues, but there's so many different colors of blue in it, or purple, or lavenders, and then pinks. You think of a sunset and all the colors that are involved in that are beautiful together. So really, you could pull from like,
Like
nature as far as
anywhere.
if you're starting out, like, even just tree bark, like a birch tree is so beautiful, and the leaves, like, are dip that how they change in different seasons and
Yeah, so the reason why I
yeah,
asked because with clothes it's different because like with painting,
yeah,
when you blend the paints, they could change colors. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah. Oh,
Clothing,
definitely.
if you put like a yellow shirt on something navy, I mean, it's still
Mhm.
yellow and navy. It's not going to blend in. So
Right.
it's just like I can always appreciate when artists are able to put the colors together. And when, even if they were to blend, like it wouldn't like mess up the overall, like, color format. I've always been impressed with that. I've tried painting before and epic fail. So,
Well, your mom does art, right? I mean,
yeah,
she's a
yeah, yeah, she
painter.
does
Yeah.
art. Yeah, Imma have her on, like, one pretty
I
soon,
love that.
but, like, it's like
Yeah.
but she's been doing it for, like, a long, long, long,
Right.
long time, and sometimes I'm still impressed with how she does that, so I think it takes a certain bit of, talent and a really good eye for that when you are in the field that you do. So how easy or how hard was it, or like, to break into like, the scene in Alabama? I know you're probably in a lot of different markets, but like how was it for you, and what was that journey like, breaking into the scene to where you're known and you're starting to get like clients and things like that? And like where
Yeah.
are you some of your paintings like displayed? Because later on you're gonna let everybody know where to find everything and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
for sure. Um, I've been very blessed to, like, have early on, have shows that were successful, and from those shows came some designers that I've worked with, and
Oh,
or
wow, that's
also
pretty cool.
shops that, like interior shops that, have had my work in them, and that a couple of them on hand I can think of came from me participating in an art show, and then that either the owner of that shop walks by, or a manager of that shop, and or a friend of a friend,
Oh, so you have your artwork in shops and stores and things like that?
yeah, so a few, not a lot, and I'm not in any galleries. That's
Mhm.
we can talk about it later, but that's kind of a goal maybe for this year, is to reach out to some galleries and go that route a little bit. But as far as shops, like I'm in one in Atlanta and
Oh, wow.
Huntsville and South Alabama in a little town called Atmore. There's a great shop there, and yeah. So
Oh,
anyway,
Ardmore,
there's
yeah, that's like half of it is in Tennessee and half of it is in
or
Alabama. Is that
well
Ardmore or Ardmore?
or Atworth. Wait, no.
Atworth?
There's
Oh,
so many
yeah,
different
no, it's all good.
maybe you're thinking of yes. I'll list I can give you the list of the shops, but,
Yeah.
there is
No, that's
one
pretty
yeah,
cool.
that's one half in Tennessee and then one anyway, in Alabama, but
So now is it just do paintings like do you do designs on like mugs or like wood pieces or things like that? Have you branched off into that, or is it just
yeah,
all like painting?
when I first started out, I'm most well, I'm mainly painted on wood pieces, kinda like these I have these little block wood pieces that's really all I painted on. But
Mhm.
now I mainly exclusively paint on canvas. I have not ventured out like into like glass or mugs. I know I see that a lot. And I saw an artist today that I follow that actually she started painting on glass, and I saw her, she was like baking it in the oven, I guess to cure the paint. And
Mhm.
that's just a learning curve I'd have to
Well,
figure
I've
out.
seen some of the tents that you set up, like with you when with you and Matt, and like you look
Yeah,
like you have a ton of stuff in there.
I know.
I thought some of those were mugs in there, but like you have like ornaments in there, and
I
then
have
you
a
have like
that
little.
yes, I do paint, ornaments and, like, glass ornaments, also, like, for the holidays, but nothing that would be, like, consumed like you would, like, drink out of a coffee mug or something. So my
Oh,
art would
okay.
just be, like, an ornament or, and I do a lot of small pieces because I like to have a price range
Hmm.
for like if someone doesn't need in their home a large piece, or budget wise it might not work for them that way. Like if I offer smaller pieces, I can you know somebody can buy something, a piece of my art that they might want, but it's small and they can rotate it. They can buy different seasonal kind of pieces. I have a lot of clients that do that, and I'm appreciative for it. So
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. So,
yeah.
how does Matt, how does he work into the fold? I know I know
Hey,
it's like, whenever I see your videos and things like that, I
You know
see
I
Matt
you
around,
know I cannot do
you'll
this without him.
cut and paste of him like putting up the tent and like,
Oh, yeah.
him
Yeah.
being around and stuff, so how does Matt work into the fold of that, do you know?
Well, unfortunately for him, this is his 2nd job, so he
Oh,
has his.
okay.
Yeah. He didn't sign up for this, but, no, I really honestly don't think I could do it without him. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I definitely wouldn't do it without him, but, he just does a lot, and I appreciate it, so
Hey, and so I was thinking, I know you have a daughter. I was
yeah.
wondering, like, does she help out with like any of the social media aspect of it,
You
or
know,
like, are y'all trying to like become this family conglomerate, to where y'all got everything,
I should get
where?
her to help out more. I would be better at it. I'm not very good at the social media. I try, but it's a learning process. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. Um, so yeah, she's great. She's at Auburn right now, Olivia, and
Oh, roll
she's
tide, by the way.
oh, I know, but we can still be friends. So.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's all good.
um, but yeah, so she is there and just living her life there.
Hmm.
No, she does not help me with social media. I mean, she'll share anything I want her to, but yeah, it's just
Oh,
me.
okay.
It's just a one woman show plus Matt,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
for the
no, that's
heavy
pretty cool.
lifting.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I know,
Yeah.
and like that's why I said like it's in my opinion, I think it's good like when the couples y'all work together and y'all are able to build something together. So
Yeah. Yeah.
the way he sets everything up, I'm pretty sure. I know you have a say in it too, but I mean like
Yeah.
some of your tents and the way you have everything set up is pretty elaborate. I mean like I was amazed. I'm like because I haven't been to like one of your actual shows, but I do
I
follow
know.
you like on like Facebook and Insta, and then it's like, I'm like, my God, man, that's a lot of work. Like, so how many paintings do
Yeah.
you do a day, or do you do so many paintings a week, or do you? Because you have a lot of merchandise in those tents.
I do. I like to have a lot of paintings available. But one thing, let's get back to the tent because I
Okay.
will tell you that was a learning process. Everything's a learning process. But we did a show down on the coast where you've got that wind coming off the water.
Oh wow.
And if you don't have your tent weighted down right, I mean, I'm fortunate this has not happened to me, but I've seen a lot of people's work destroyed, a
Oh wow.
potter's work destroyed. And so we learned quickly that if we were going to do the outdoor shows, we had to invest in a tent that could withstand the elements of rain and wind. And especially because a lot of shows I'll do are at least 2-day shows. So I leave my art in the tent overnight. So
Well, I mean,
yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Like, is
because
it
my
closed?
tent, it's not waterproof, but it's water resistant. It's been through a lot of storms and it manages fine. So
What well, so is it closed in though? Like, what's stopping somebody from going in there and being like, "Hey, I wanted
Yeah,
this earlier, but."
it's closed in, as far as, like, when we leave for the day, we zip it up, we zip up the sides, and so it's completely closed. You could unzip it, but for what I've learned is, like a painter's work, I have not had that happen yet, so,
Okay.
now if
Oh,
I had fine jewelry or
oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
something like
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
metalworking maybe, but as far as my art,
Oh,
luckily, I
okay,
haven't had that
okay.
happen, so, yeah.
So if say you have like, people out there who want to get into doing what you do, what advice would you give them? And then what lessons have you learned,
Yeah.
during your journey to get to the level of success where you are right now?
Well, I would just say, number 1 lesson, you just gotta keep believing in yourself, listening to positive people like you, um, and just try to believe in yourself, and I have to tell myself that every day, "I can do this." But as far as, like, I would have, things to tell, like, an artist is wanting to do, art to be an art show artist. There are like, number 1, you have to invest in a good tent.
Hmm.
It makes it so much easier. It is a process to put up, but it's worth it to me, and 2, I mean, I would just try to find, your niche or where your people are that you wanna sell to that gravitate towards whatever art you're doing, and find that and really you just gotta try. And I
Hmm.
never even if a show is not, what I would call success or what I would call successful or, even if it's not, like, the best show I've ever had, I never, like, totally discount a show because to me, you never know who you're gonna meet, you never
Hmm.
know what contacts you've made there that you don't even realize you're making. So I just look at every show, and I would tell somebody else to do this as well, a learning opportunity and, like, a way to get your art out in front of people, and it's fun as well, so I would
So
just
how do you deal with how would you tell someone how to cope with, like, say they keep doing like a lot of shows and no one ever like buys
yeah,
anything,
it's
or
it's
have
tough.
you ever been in a situation where you've done like a lot of shows back to back and no one has ever like gotten anything, and that could
Yeah.
be pretty discouraging a little bit, you
No,
know?
it can. It definitely can, and I've been there. I've had not very many, but a handful of shows where, I've barely made expenses. So that's always tough, but I guess if you're not selling anything, I would look at maybe where you are doing those shows and, trying to figure out if that's what it is, like, the people that are attending them may not gravitate towards your art or, um or possibly, maybe, the display of it may not be what would bring somebody in.
Hmm.
So that's another thing I would think of. One thing that I always this is a weird thing to say, but if you're an artist and you're doing art shows, like, I never unless I have to, like, do it, I never sit right in front of my booth.
Oh,
Um
okay.
because it kinda intimidates people from wanting to not everybody, but coming in and looking at your art, so, anyway, that's just something I would always think. You can sit in front of your booth a little bit, but maybe move around and be friendly and talk
Do
to
you have
people.
music playing inside?
I love a show that already has music playing.
Gotcha, gotcha.
But, and a lot of times if there's not, they'll like, meeting your art show neighbors is always so much fun to me,
Hmm.
and a lot of times they'll have music playing. Matt sometimes will put something on, but
Oh, okay.
we
Yeah, we
do
all
we
know
do
Matt
like
Matt
music, yeah,
Matt loves music, Mr.
yeah.
Karaoke,
I
that's
know,
what
right?
I
That's a
call
whole
that's what
nother
I that's
conversation.
yeah, I know, that's his new name. That's a whole
Yeah,
nother
yeah,
topic or whatever. So, where do you see Laurel Browning's art in, like, the next 5 to 10 years? Like, where do you see it,
yeah.
going?
I'm working on that right now, trying to figure it out, so, uh, um, I'm kinda brainstorming, thinking I do love shows, but they are a lot of work, and so I may be scaling back on that a little bit for now, and trying to contact a few galleries in the southeast, southwest area, a little bit north, north of Alabama. Try to kind of go from there and see, but that's a process. So I've got to
Yeah,
kind of
what about being
follow
like some
that.
big skyscrapers or some big museums or something like that? You know
That's
what I mean? Like that'd be
that's what
pretty
I need to
cool.
be
Yeah.
aiming for. Yes.
So if someone wanted to like, look, find out more about your artwork or, wanted to like, possibly purchase or just see
Uh-huh.
like your whole portfolio, how can they get in touch with you or like, basically, how can they get in
Yeah.
touch with you? How can they find you?
Yeah, so the best way to see my work, is on Instagram, and it's
Mhm,
just under Laurel Browning Art,
mhm.
on Instagram. It's also Laurel Browning Art on Facebook, and,
You're on
I am
TikTok too,
on
right?
I am on TikTok.
Mhm.
I'm not as active over there, just it's just a learning curve again, so
Okay.
trying to figure that out, but,
What about Etsy? Are you on there as
oh,
well too?
yes, so my Instagram page has a link to my Etsy page, and it's also Laurel Browning Art. And that I on Etsy, I will post like for seasonal, like for Christmas ornaments and different seasons we have, or like Mother's Day, like florals. Right now, I just put all of my remaining artwork from a show that I just finished in Atlanta. I just put that on Etsy. So
Okay.
yeah,
So
they could go there.
Laurel Browning Art, and you wanna let them know how to spell it because a lot of people have a
Yes,
lot of
I
different
know,
spelling.
that's a hard. So Laurel is Laurel, and then Browning, Browning, and then Art, ART.
Yep,
So,
guys, you can find her on
yeah,
Instagram, Facebook. She has Etsy. Etsy link will be on her Facebook page, and she has a TikTok page. Well, Laurel, thank you for coming on to the Saddle Talk podcast and
thank
sharing
you.
all your knowledge and everything that you have going on now. We look forward to seeing like you. Maybe we'll have you come back on again in the future. But then
Sure.
you can let us know what you're working on or any kind of like
Yeah,
what do they call it? When people have
like
like say you're doing a whole scene on like the 20s or like
oh, yeah, like a release or a, sure,
yeah, like a release or like,
yeah.
or a program or
A
something like that.
collection.
A collection, yes,
Yes,
yes, a
yes,
collection
yes.
and things like that. Well,
Yeah,
so once again, thank you for coming on, and I'm glad that everyone tuned in today, got a chance to see what you're about in your work. And like always, anything is possible
yeah.
when you believe, and always keep
Mhm.
it country, keep it cowboy, and God bless America. Appreciate you, Laurel.
Thanks, Travis.